Hey guys, how you doing today? Got a question in the comment section asking, is there a way for someone with what I call challenge credit or what you might call bad credit to get a home? Today, I'm going to go over how you need to prepare yourself if you're dealing with challenge, AKA bad credit. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert, and on this channel, we simplify the home loan process. Leg up. The first thing you have to understand when dealing with challenge credit is you have to be able to document why your credit was challenged for a period of time. In order to do that, you have to understand what reasons are valid and what reasons aren't. And just that understanding alone will save you a lot of time and frustration as you prepare yourself to get into your home. Let's go over some valid reasons. Accidents, a death, medical situations. Those tend to be valid reasons for your credit to have dealt with some period of challenge as you've borrowed money. Let me explain. Accidents are something that we typically don't cause. It's not as a result of our own, in most cases. Death, a spouse or someone that was helping or may have been the lion's share of the income coming into the family. Again, this is something that you don't plan for. It's unexpected. Medical issues, the same thing. Maybe the breadwinner fell ill, couldn't work. There was a time of disability. There are valid reasons to explain why there was an isolated period of time where your credit was challenged, where it was not at its best because of these reasons. And because the reason is valid, you are able to document those reasons. I cannot stress that enough. So if you're out there and you're dealing with challenge credit as a result of you not having enough income and you have a lot of derogatory credit because of that and you just weren't able to pay, don't frustrate yourself. There is a different path that you're going to have to take, and you don't want to waste a lot of additional money trying to dispute things and pay people to so-called fix your credit for you, because it's not going to happen. But if you have a valid reason, like the three examples that I gave, you are in a great position if you're dealing with the right lender that understands how to put your information together. If you know of other valid reasons that would fit into that section, put them down in the comment section so that we all can get an understanding, we all can learn. Let's go over some reasons that are not valid. Divorce has been run through the mud. Back in the day when I first started in this industry, yeah, we were able to put those things together. Divorce is like driving a car now. So many people have gotten a divorce. That is not a circumstance anymore that underwriting really looks at. Bankruptcy, chapter 13, chapter 7. If you think about it, if you were able to use that tool in bankruptcy, why would that be an excuse after either you've completed successfully the chapter 13 or had the debt dismissed with the chapter 7, and after the fact you still have derogatory or late credit? So that's not an excuse, not valid. I had a roommate. What had happened was my roommate was, that ain't gonna work. That's played out, not gonna work. That identifies how you make decisions, I'll put it that way, more so than anything. I was immature and young. Okay, we all were. What did you do to get over that immaturity? So that's not gonna work. I don't remember. Y'all be killing me with that. Some of y'all grown folk, what you mean you don't remember? That's not gonna work either. And job loss. Although it is unfortunate for you to have lost a job, there's no job that's guaranteed. And so these are some of the reasons that I hear all the time. And folks that use those reasons a lot tend to throw what I call adult tantrums, because it's like, I just want the money, give it to me, I can pay for it. Well, you're not going to lend money like that, and we're not going to lend money like that. So in order not to be frustrated, if you have those things going on, this is what you need to do. We have to identify the pattern or the history, your story, over a period of time. And all history is valid, but when it comes to lending, we're really looking at the most recent, I'll say 36 months, the most recent 3 years. So if I'm going on that continuum, the most recent 12 months is very important. 2 years establishes behavior. Hey, what you've been doing. In 3 years, we really understand who you are. This is how you look at it. Was my credit good before the challenge period of time, the bad credit time? Or have you ever had any good credit, right? And so the way you do that is you get access to your information. Annualcreditreport.com. It's a free resource. You can get a copy of your credit report from all 3 agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Not the credit score, but the information that makes up your credit score, your history, your pattern, so that you can determine, did you have good credit before the challenge period of time? And then now we can establish after that fact what you've done to rectify, or was that situation finalized and now you're back on your feet? If you look at it that way, it really makes sense, and it helps you document your story so that you can show that you're trustworthy enough to be able to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars to get onto the housing ladder. The second thing you want to establish, was the challenge credit isolated, or has it been over your lifetime of borrowing? Okay. So that's very important. Lastly, is there a pattern of good history after that isolated period? Very important. And I alluded to it earlier, but really you got to have a minimum of 12 months. So you got to have a greater than 12-month history of good payment behavior, because that shows that the illness, the sickness, the challenge is isolated. It's over. Whatever was happening has been rectified. If that makes sense, type down in the comment section, isolated. Now, these are the things that you must have whenever you've dealt with challenge credit and your credit scores reflect those challenges and you're trying to purchase a home. Rental history, verifiable rental history. What's verifiable rental history? First of all, you're not paying the rent in cash. Cash is not king when it comes to documentation, because we can't verify the cash, right? And so you want to have a paper trail, the money either coming into whatever account that you're using, you're paying the rent on time, all the time, every time, to either a property management or an app or something, and we can see that consistent payment history. It's better to have everything match, but you may be in a situation where your pay frequency is off, and so you might have to break that payment up a couple of times a month. Regardless of how many times you have to break up your rental payment, it should match whatever the lease agreed payment is, plus whatever fees you might be paying because you're paying through a portal. So you gotta have verifiable rental history for a period that's 12 months or greater. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. And if you do that and you're able to do the things that I aforementioned, I could get you into a home if you can afford said home. Got to be gainfully employed and so on and so forth. But we're just dealing with the credit piece. Number 2, after you have closed on your home, you have to have 2 to 3 months of the pity payment. That's your principal, interest, tax, and insurance. We like to call it reserves, cushion. Why? Let's think about it. Especially if your credit was challenged as a result of not valid or non-valid reasons, it's more than likely because you didn't have a cushion. You didn't have any reserves. You didn't have enough money. Nobody wants to say that. Everybody wants to come with a million. It boils down to you didn't have enough money, or you had enough money and you just had a spending problem. But it all revolves around the money, right? And so after coming off of an isolated period or getting qualified for a home loan with a lower credit score, if we can document those things and say we're good to go, and I have the rental history that's documentable. I showed that whatever was happening is past by a 12-month or greater history. So you got to have those reserves, those cushions, because that's what got you in the situation that you're in. And that's what we're all about over here on the channel. Those that know, talk about ownership is great, but responsible ownership and responsibility, the responsible owner is one that has the ability to maintain the property, the TMI, right? The taxes, maintenance, and the insurance. Lastly, you got to be able to document via letters of explanation. A great letter of explanation does this. It identifies the problem. I understand that my credit went through this situation. I understand the importance of credit, but I want you to know that that is not my behavior. That is not my character. This happened to me as a result of either extenuating circumstance, a death, an accident, a medical event that was unexpected and caused this for this period of time. But once everything got together, the ship was righted and everything matches. And oh, and by the way, here's a death certificate, or here's the paper trail from the accident, so on and so forth. Or you're saying, you know what? I did it. Didn't have enough money at that time. I went back to school, whatever. I got myself on a tight budget. Here's the budget. And those things that you're saying match because your behavior, your history, the report card, AKA the credit report, is going to show that fact. And so when you do those things and put them in a letter, you get right to it. We don't have to do a lot of rambling. If you notice, a lot of rambling means, you know, they playing 3-card Monte. They trying to get you off the trail. Get to it. Be succinct. And that's all you have to do, because lenders are in the business of lending money. It's not that no one is trying to help you. It's just that you have not worked with the right people, or you don't have the right information. If you've watched thus far and you said, Robert, I am ready, what's the next step? Schedule a consultation. Let me hear what it is that you are wanting to achieve as it pertains to home ownership. And if there's a meeting of the minds, if we like each other, right, we say we want to work together, then I will direct you to the next step. That's in the description. If you're not ready to do any of that, no peace test, no consultation, continue educating yourself. Watch these 2 videos. I've curated them just for you to continue your education until the time that you're ready to reach out. Let's be good to one another. Let us let grace abound. And more importantly, y'all stay blessed. Indeed.